Hey everyone, this podcast is part of Story Mode, the podcast network of Gamefully Unemployed. You can support us and gain access to other great exclusive podcasts at patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. That's patreon.com/GAMEFULLY unemployed, which is spelled like it sounds.
Celebrate.
Woo.
Celebrate.
Woo.
Celebrate. Hi, everyone.
Hello, everyone.
My name is David Bell.
My name is Tom Ryman.
And we just watched 47 Ronin.
47 Ronin.
Or Ronin, as Agent Mulder would call him.
Fucking Mulder says it.
Those who enslaved you have taken over our land.
Mountains of corpses will not stand in our way.
We believe you are the only one who can help us.
Their army is infinite.
We are 47.
If we do this, there's no coming back.
That's a nod to one of our other shows.
Yeah. Or if you're just an X-Files fan, it's from the episode Pusher.
Yes, it is. This is true. This is This is Thursday. Yeah, this is Thursday.
It is.
Which means this is a Patreon episode. This is brought to you by one of our patrons. In this case, Lef.
Lef.
L-E-F. Lef.
Thank you, Lef.
Thank you, Lef. Thank you for telling us to watch 47 Ronin, the Keanu Reeves 2013 like 10% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, it's an infamous film because it was delayed. They had finished one version of it. It was supposed to come out in 2012. The studio saw it and panicked because it wasn't what they wanted. They wanted something that was more like Lord of the Rings.
Really?
Yes. Oh. So one of the reasons why, like, if you watch this movie knowing that it cost $175 million, you'd probably be really confused. And the reason for that ballooned budget is because not only did they ask for reshoots, they asked for a rewrite of the script.
Oh.
So they reshot the movie.
That's interesting to me because this is my first time watching it and I don't remember anything about this movie. I didn't know it cost $175 million.
Oh, yeah.
Which is too much. Too much money.
Yeah. The director, I'll get this out before we start talking about it because this might it might be interesting to know. The director and the writer and Keanu, who signed on for the original film, were picturing this as more like Gladiator or Kingdom of Heaven.
Okay.
Like they wanted a drama, and the studio wanted like a fantasy action movie.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So a lot of the weird magical elements might have been added?
Possibly. I don't know. It seems like I don't know how you'd completely add the witch character.
Right.
But maybe there was just less action, or I don't know. Maybe I don't know. We'll get into it. We'll get into it. This is actually I'm interested to talk about this.
Me too.
Yeah.
You had told me this movie was very dull. You had seen it before, right?
Yeah, I saw it when it came out in the theater. I took Marina to see it. She was very excited to see it, and she fell asleep. Partially, it's because she puts on sort of real peaceful animes like Mushishi to fall asleep.
So it triggered her in a relaxing way.
Yeah, because a lot of this movie, there are action scenes, but a lot of it is just like landscapes and a soundtrack and people talking.
Yeah.
So yeah.
How'd you like it?
To be perfectly honest, watching it again, I kind of liked it.
Yeah, Tom, I really liked this movie.
Yeah, right? It's not bad.
It's not bad. You know what it reminded me of?
What's that?
Both in tone and in plot points is it reminded me of a 90s movie, specifically like Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
Kind of.
They both start with like a king type character, a leader dying. A band of men like in the woods who are disgraced. There's a witch. There's a wedding that they infiltrate.
Yep.
It feels very similar. Keanu Reeves, I was wondering if it was going to be one of them white savior situations.
Not so much.
Not so much. I assume, was this production overseas?
I believe they filmed. I got to look it up, but I think they did film overseas.
Because it didn't feel like it was an American studio. It felt like Keanu Reeves was shoved in there by a foreign studio who still wanted like another actor as kind of the lead character.
Because I was going to say, I think probably, and it's not even that bad of a fault, but I think that this movie's biggest fault is Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, he's not that necessary.
Right, his character's like, the movie is clearly about the samurai leader.
Right. Again, like kind of like Prince of Thieves, Morgan Freeman's character is like the other. And Keanu Reeves is kind of that in this.
Right, yeah, it's interesting that
and he's kind of magical.
He's a little bit like he was raised by demons in the forest.
A gaggle of Voldemorts is what I identified with them as.
What's interesting, I actually really liked that look because Marina was watching the first part of the movie with me before she had to go do something else, and she's really into Japanese folklore. And Tengu are apparently crow demons.
So like that explains it.
Yeah, the Tengu kind of look like crow people.
Yeah. And there's no denying that when I saw them, I went, ah! Oh! Voldemorts! Oh, shit.
Whole bunch of Voldemorts.
Yeah. Whole bunch of Voldemorts.
Just a whole flock of them. Living in a tree.
Yeah, just hanging out, doing
dispensing swords.
Yeah, just doing sword stuff. I like the sequence, though.
It's cool, yeah.
I don't know, man. It's a little silly.
A little bit.
But it's I thought it was a really solid adventure.
It was good. It was my, and it's interesting to say this movie ends at right about the hour 45 minute mark, right around there. And like, apart from Keanu Reeves kind of feeling sort of shoehorned in because like the story could still kind of work without him.
Yes.
And it doesn't really make any sense why Oishi, who's the samurai leader, seeks him out in the first place. Like, why is he the first guy he goes to find?
Right. I assume it's just because he can fight, but so can all the others.
Yeah, right. So you got a whole bunch of other dudes that can fight too, man. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know why you have to go to the pirate city and watch him fight an ogre.
I don't know, but that fucking ruled.
Yeah, exactly. But I wasn't against it.
The Rambo boxing scene with a fucking troll.
Yeah, that was the point where I wrote down this movie has fucking everything.
Yeah. I honestly felt like this movie could have been 10 or 15 minutes longer, which we don't say much. But like it felt like some of the stuff they moved through too quickly.
I agree.
Yeah.
It felt like the magic is sort of on the sidelines,
right?
But
it's just sort of.
It never felt like it never felt confusing though.
No,
because like they start with that monster and that weird fucking whatever it was. It looked like the monsters in the village like took the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles ooze. And added a few like avatar eyes.
Right, it was like a weird chimera almost.
Yeah, but the moment that monster comes out, it was like, oh, okay, this is the type of movie we're watching.
It's just where and nobody is like, oh shit, it's a monster. They're all just like, yeah, it's one of them things. Like, people. I think it worked because they don't spend a lot of time explaining it, and it's not confusing. Like you said, it's just like, oh, well, there's a monster. Okay, well, that's a troll. That the fucking mountain, I guess, is some sort of golem, I guess.
Yeah, it none of it needed to be.
And the witch was
explained.
A witch. Like, her powers weren't confusing. It was just like, oh, she's a witch.
Right, and Keanu sees him, and he's like, I think that lady's a witch.
Right.
And then they totally demon shame him. They're like, only a demon would see witches, you bastard. So like, don't say there's witches. And he's like, okay, but like, it's like a grinning fox half the time. I don't know, man.
but like pretty sure that's a witch.
Yeah.
Demon shaming him.
Demon shaming him.
Some demon bullying.
Yeah, I think there's definitely, because Keanu Reeves, he's the other in it, and so it's like, oh, look at this poor white guy getting picked on. So it's like, depending on, I don't know what country you're watching this from or where you're watching, it's sort of like you get the white savior vibes because it is like, oh, look at this poor white guy. But in his environment, it's mostly just because he's a demon man. I don't know how they determine that about him.
I don't know. They just sort of know. Like he was in the haunted forest, I guess.
Right.
And in Keanu,
the old ghosts.
In brief defense of Keanu, I don't think we really need to defend Keanu because he's just a perfect human. I don't think he's like, I don't think his father was white. I could be wrong about that.
Sure. I mean,
but anyway.
I guess
anyway,
this is kind of picky because Keanu Reeves is, everybody loves Keanu Reeves.
Right.
And if you watch this movie, you're like, oh, okay. Like it's not problematic in any way.
No, but I really appreciated that like every other cast member is Japanese.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But it is still that his character feels shoehorned for being a celebrity.
Right, yeah. And I had read that Keanu initially had some hesitation about doing the role because he was like, I don't really... Like, he was sort of pointing out that his character kind of feels ancillary. Mm-hmm. So they apparently rewrote it a little bit to have him be a little bit more integral.
Right, he gets a love story that sort of could have gone to the love story could have gone to the main guy, too.
It could have, but it didn't even necessarily need to. Like, there didn't even necessarily need to be a love story.
It's true, there didn't. Yeah, I like that he has an arc, which is his arc is mainly how other people perceive him, and people sort of being like, "Hey, we were total dicks to you. We're sorry." So it's the arc is the people around him. A guy apologizes on his deathbed after getting like arrowed a bunch. Does he get arrowed a bunch?
Yeah, he gets shot in the back a bunch carrying the other guy.
Yeah. But it is, I don't know, for American audiences, I can see how people would have saw this movie and been like, this white guy gets picked on. But in the, I don't know, in the context, that's why I was wondering where it was made, because it doesn't feel central. Again, he feels like Morgan Freeman's character and Robin Hood, where there's like this racism and like people just sort of being like, oh, he's weird and like a demon of some sort. I don't know. It's an interesting dynamic in the film.
Yeah.
I kind of want to see Morgan Freeman play the role.
Yeah, throw Morgan Freeman in there. Who gives a
Fuck
shit?
it. I want to see Morgan Freeman fight a fucking witch dragon.
I want to see Morgan Freeman in a Rambo boxing pit with an ogre.
Right. God damn. Yeah, this is Keanu Reeves sword fighting. I was like, oh, great. It's another fucking thing he can do. I see.
Yeah, the sword fighting is really cool in this.
Yeah. The action is really cool. The part where they Assassin's Creed their way into the weird wedding
that was dope. That was actually really cool.
It was so cool.
I was worried because, it's an effects heavy film, so it's like, oh, okay, all the action sequences are going to be just visual effects bonanzas. Obviously he fights a dragon and a troll, so to a certain degree that's true, but like most of it is like really bitchin' sword fights and like just really cool practical stuff and like physicality of stuntmen and shit like that. Yeah, they do, and I don't even know how much of it's effects driven. They just make it look very practical, and they also make it creative. When they were like grabbing the people with ropes and like pulling them down and replacing the guards really quickly. Yeah, that was fucking cool.
Yeah, I love that during that the bad guy Kira.
He's so dazzled.
He's so delighted by that show.
Like every new development in the, I guess it's Kabuki theater. Yeah. I could be wrong, but like every new development, he was just like, oh.
Yeah, exactly. There'd be flashes of light. It's
like he'd never seen fireworks before. Like he was he was like a 10-year-old boy at the circus. Like he was so excited.
It's a good reminder that no matter the culture or location old-timey entertainment sucked. But everybody was dazzled by it because there was nothing else to do. It feels like in the first scene where they're like, here's a bunch of music and entertainment. All right, we're going to have two guys fight. And everybody's like, finally.
Yeah, fucking finally. Get the 10-foot tall fucking obvious demon to fight our guy who's a regular dude. Like, I can't believe nobody raised their hand when that motherfucker walked out.
Oh, yeah.
And
it's
be
like, no, hey.
And it's like, hey, I think you're cheating.
Yeah.
That's clearly not a person.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. You got the fucking mountain coming at us. Fuck that shit. That guy it was fucking Silver Samurai is what it was.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
That weird sitcom plot where Keanu switches with the guy, I didn't understand. Because what happens is, this is early on in the film. We could explain the plot of this film at some point, but early on they have like visiting guests. And they're having a fight for everybody, and the fighter that's supposed to fight this big guy gets poisoned by, I think, a blood spider. Is that the blood spider?
No, the blood spider is the one she uses on Lord Asano. She just shows up in his tent and like possesses him or something. I don't know.
I thought they like cut away, so I assumed it was another blood spider. But yeah, who knows? And then they're like, oh, but we have to go on. They're gonna see it's like they're going to take it as an insult. And so Keanu like quickly puts on the guy's outfit. Mm-hmm. And I was like, stop. Everybody stop right now. Just go out and say our fighter's been poisoned. Like someone fucked with the thing. No one, like, it's just, don't fucking...
Right, yeah, that's what they should have done.
Yeah, don't fucking Three's Companies as shit or do some like zany thing where you pretend it's like, no.
Like their whole plot is, okay, so it's this guy Lord Kira who is the Lord of... I forget what his province is called, but he's coming to visit Lord Asano, who is the Lord of Akko. And Kira really wants control of Akko. So he has his witch poison their fighter, which was gonna, I guess, look like an insult. But like his ultimate plan is they poison Lord Asano into trying to kill him in the night, so that he gets executed, and then the Shogun, who is Shang Tsung from the Mortal Kombat movie.
That was Shang Tsung. Okay. I was like, this guy looks very Shang Tsung.
It's because he's motherfucking Shang Tsung.
Lord Kira is dressed almost like Scorpion sometimes. He is fucking styling.
Yeah, I mean, he's blue, so he literally looks like Sub-Zero.
Yeah, the first time you see him, he's wearing silver, and it's like a Sub-Zero. He reminded me of like when Bill and Ted Go to the Future, like the kind of outfit.
Right, it's like what Rufus silver is wearing.
Yeah.
Bill and Ted.
All I know is he looked awesome in every scene.
He looked pretty sweet. And he also was like always enjoying himself. Like he's like always smiling in every scene.
He's having a great time. He's
like, everything's coming up, Kira.
Yeah.
My plan is falling into place. So yeah, the whole plan is based on like tricking the Emperor into thinking that their lord tried to kill Kira. Yes. But like, had they just dragged that like convulsing, clearly possessed dude out of his tent and been like, "Hey, yo, somebody fucked with our fighter,"
right? Then suddenly someone else is going to be doing the seppuku, like going to be stabbing themselves. There's a lot of that in this.
There is.
It's hardcore because the idea is it's like an honorable death of a samurai, as opposed to a public execution.
And it prevents your, well, it didn't in this case, but I think normally the idea is it prevents your family from losing like your lands and your titles, and it prevents your family from having to basically pay for what you did.
Yep.
But you got to cut your stomach open, bro. That's the trade-off.
Spoilers is how everyone dies in this movie.
Yeah, every single character.
Keanu.
Yeah.
It's a downer ending, but I really liked it. Because it was so hardcore.
Yeah.
Where at the end they're like, yeah, man, we knew we were the consequences.
Right.
Here are the consequences.
We knew this was gonna happen.
It would have been really Hollywood for them to be like, stop, I've had a change of heart.
Yeah.
You know? So yeah, that's what happens.
Yeah. They all killed themselves.
But yeah, so the guy kills himself, and they send all the samurai out, and they're like, "You're banished." Hence, they are Ronin.
Yes.
They have no master, and
there's Kira.
47 of them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Kira is going to takes control of Akko. He's going to marry Mika, I think is her name. It was
Mika,
the Lord's daughter who is sweet on Keanu, and Keanu's sweet on her. But the Shogun's like, you get a year to mourn, and then you're going to get married. Because I want to. Basically, he's like, I want to squash this beef. Right. So you guys are going to get married, so I don't have to deal with this shit anymore.
Giving her a year to mourn was, I don't want to say generous because it's still fucked up, but it was like, well, shit. I mean, what a weird arbitrary amount of time. That didn't really affect. I kind of like it though, because they also give the main guy, they shove him in the hole, and they're like, "We'll give him a year in there to break his spirit."
Yep.
They let him out, and he's immediately ready to fight them.
The first thing he does is like, "All right, I'm going to gather up the boys. I'm getting the crew together, and we're going to go murder this guy."
Yeah, just how in a year later, Mika's like, "No, I'm still mad. Like, I don't know why you guys thought a year was going to make a difference."
Right. I don't know why you thought I'd be less pissed a year from now.
Yeah. Still pissed.
I'm still gonna fucking murder you.
Yeah, I love that the witch gives her that knife. That witch,
that was it was such a good scene.
Yeah, the witch like lurches into her room and gives her this knife. Says she's promised not to harm a hair in her head, but she's like, but you can do whatever you want to yourself, and basically just like tries to urge her to kill herself.
Right, she's really trying to get her to kill herself.
Yeah, and then she later uses the knife to attack Kira.
Yeah, which I thought was cool.
Yeah, I thought that was cool.
I fucking loved the witch. That's Rinko Kikuchi. She's from Pacific Rim.
Oh, yeah, she's fucking killing it in this.
Yeah, she's so much fun in this movie.
Yeah, I liked all the witch effects. Like, she comes in as like a gown, a flowy gown just flowing in the wind, and it's like a piece of cloth, and like her dress basically transforms into things. Like when the dragon gets slaughtered, it sort of like slowly turns back into the gown. Yeah. It looked really good.
Yeah, it looked cool.
Yeah, and I mean, it should for $175 million. It'd be a shame if it didn't look good.
Right, it'd be a shame if it looked like crap.
Yeah, but yeah. So it's basically they get kicked out, and then after a year he's out of the hole, and he tells his wife to like publicly divorce him to basically pretend like they're not together, and so her and her son are safe. Although no, he brings his son.
His son comes, but the emperor decides at the last minute as they're all about to kill themselves. So there's a tiny bit of that Hollywood thing, but I did like that it wasn't like, you don't have to kill yourselves. It's just like, your son doesn't have to kill himself because I don't want to deprive the Japan of your bloodline. Yeah.
There's a few Hollywood moments. There's the part where Keanu does the sitcom bullshit and switches with the fighter, and they find out that they're like, you're not a samurai, and he goes, kill him. And then Mika jumps in front and is like, no. And they're like, okay, just beat him. And I was like, well, you can still kill him, Yeah. Like, that's still on the table. Just drag her ass away and then kill him. But whatever. It's fine. You have to keep him alive. So,
yeah, and the Lord sort of takes the heat for it.
Oh, right. Yeah,
He comes in and he says, no, this is my fault.
Yeah.
So I guess he's gonna get some sort of ass whooping later for that, because he's pretty pissed when he goes back to his house.
Right. I mean, it's a boneheaded thing to do.
Yeah. Like the kid's like, let me go get my father, and Keanu's like, there's no time. I'm like, yeah, there is.
Yeah.
Let him go get his dad.
Yeah, don't
be like,
fuck this up, man.
Somebody poisoned our dude.
Yeah, it's like not our fault.
Yeah.
It's clearly something fucked up is happening here. We should probably all talk about it. What's the main character's name? Oishi. Mm-hmm. And Keanu is Kai.
Keanu's Kai, yeah.
So he goes to look for Kai, and that's where they go to the pirate. And it's like Pirates of the Caribbean Pirate City. It's all these boats docked that are like so entangled with each other. Mm-hmm. It's like they all got drunk, and then they woke up and they're like, well, we're not getting these boats out of here. It's like
the Pirate Kingdom in fucking the third Pirates of the Caribbean movie.
That's what I was saying. Yeah. And it's like they so it's just entangled boats. And it was one of those moments where I was like, let's spend like 20 minutes here. Because it was awesome looking.
It was pretty sweet, but we're in and out of there pretty quick.
Yeah, because he goes and finds Keanu. They do this cool sword fight reunion where like Keanu has just clearly been conditioned because he was sold off as a slave to this I don't know, to these fucking pirates.
These fucking pirates, yeah.
And they're just making him fight people because I assume they realized he could fight.
Yeah.
And like they just kept like, oh yeah, stick him in front of things, see what he can fight.
Just throw an ogre in there. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
I don't know. Can we somehow get a shark in there?
Yeah, we could probably get a shark. Let's give it a little scuba tank, like a reverse scuba tank of water on it.
Yeah, just get him a little
Have
helmet.
it flop around. Oh, that would be tough because then it couldn't use its sharkness. Its teeth.
Right. Yeah.
So he's just like so he starts fighting Keanu and then Keanu like snaps out of it and they escape together. And then they go and find their guys, the rest of the Ronin. Mm-hmm. And Keanu's like, I can get us swords. And this was one of those, it was fine, but like they didn't spend that much time on him as a demon child. So like I was a little confused. Because I thought they just found him in the woods and decided he was a demon. Because there's nothing about him that's demon-like.
Not really. I guess he can track the monsters.
Yeah, it's like they found him. He was like just a pale bald kid, and I guess I could see that if you haven't seen a pale bald kid before, and just be like, I don't know, fucking demon. Mm-hmm. But they also are like, it's a demon, but also let's just adopt it. So they're not that serious. But like, yeah, I just figured they all just assumed he was a demon somehow. Mm-hmm. Or was like calling it to piss him off. But then he's like, no, I was like literally raised by demons.
Right, yeah, he literally was raised by demons.
Which was a shocker.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, they go to the weird bamboo forest with all the ghosts having a great time.
Mm-hmm. And they got to pass the test of the crow demons.
Yep.
Which is pretty cool.
That was cool. Yeah. Because just the two of them go in and Keanu's like, don't unsheathe your sword. Don't take it out.
Don't pull out your sword or else you're all going to die.
Right, and then they make him think that the rest of his men come in or get slaughtered by the Voldemorts, but he never pulls out his sword, so he passes the test, and it's all an illusion, and it looks cool. I like that Keanu has like demon powers, and you can sort of see the demon powers in this scene where they like move really fast and like blurry and shit. I don't know, it looked good.
Yeah, I was into it.
Yeah. So yeah, they basically they infiltrate the wedding and chop off the motherfucker's head, fight a dragon. Like it's pretty standard, I thought.
It moves really fast.
Yeah. But what makes it, I don't know, what makes it, what I liked about it is the fact that the end is so hardcore.
Yeah. Like it didn't flinch from the ending.
Yeah. Yeah. It's got a Hollywood formula to it, but not at the same time.
Right.
And so I don't know, like it was you know what, it's the combination of being like having the fun of a Hollywood film while not being certain I know where the story's going.
Right.
At all times. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of fun.
Yeah. No, it was effective.
Yeah. Did you notice the sorry, what were you going to say?
I don't know. What were you going to say?
I was going to say, did you notice the part of the end where I forget who says of Mika, she will make Akko great again? Yeah. And I was like, oh, a MAGA, huh? No,
I didn't catch that, but that's awesome. Yeah. Oh, no. Oh, no. Yeah.
Make Akko great again. It fits the
Yeah, no, I know MAGA. It does. No, it's yeah.
Yeah, not great. Yeah, just I don't know, man. Good movie.
Yeah, there was a couple of cool like shots, like compositionally. Like the one that jumped out to me was when the acting troupe has arrived and Kira has come to collect Mika to take her out, to watch the show and then get married. We see her walking down this long hallway, and it's like it looks like more like a traditional Japanese house. Like she's got these two guys with her, and it's like there's wood and lights all around her and stuff. And then it shows the reverse shot, and it's Kira against a fucking flat, oppressive stone wall with two of his heavily armed guards. And then they meet midway, and it's a profile shot of her on the left and him on the right, and there's weapons on the wall. And if you look, there's like 3 long spears that are pointing towards her coming out of Kira, and then there's 2 swords from her pointing at him, one coming right from her eye line and the other one coming right from her chest. And I was like,
oh shit.
Yeah. It smacked me in the face. I was like, oh, that's not bad.
Yeah. Well, would you believe that the cinematographer did the movie Gladiator, the movie you brought up?
I would believe that.
Mm-hmm.
It's lit very similarly to Gladiator.
Yeah. The cinematographer's done a lot, including K-Pax and Hannibal.
Oh, yeah.
And the heart-shaped box music video. So really all over the goddamn place.
Yeah.
Uncle.
I'd put that music video right up there with Gladiator. Sure.
Yeah.
Man from Uncle rips.
Man from Uncle. Yeah. X-Men First Class.
Sure.
The 2010 Robin Hood.
Yep. I think he just works with Ridley Scott a lot.
Yeah, it's just this guy's just working. Yeah, Matchstick Men, another Ridley Scott.
Yeah, Hannibal,
Kingdom of Heaven, is that Ridley Scott? Kingdom of Heaven.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this is just Ridley Scott cinematographer.
Right. Well, then it matches up perfectly with the director and the writers being like, well, we wanted it to be more like Gladiator and Kingdom of Heaven, so they hired the DP.
They hired the guy. I feel bad for this director. This director hasn't done anything since then. It did a video short, like a commercial. Mm-hmm. I assume because $175 million. Because it doesn't sound like it was his fault.
Massive loss for the studio.
Yeah. Sorry, looking at the poster, I just noticed the tattooed guy who's at the pirate.
Right, he has 3 lines.
Yep, he is the second largest person on the poster. To give you an idea of why the studio panicked, our main character, not on the poster.
No, he's not anywhere to be seen.
Yep, it's Keanu Big, tattoo guy, the witch, and Silver Samurai.
Right, Silver Mountain.
And the picture under them is the pirate city exploding.
Right. Boy, they didn't have a fucking clue what to do with this movie.
They really... okay. This bothers me, though, because it's not the director's fault.
No, I don't think so at all.
Yeah, it's not the writer's fault. I think whatever happened here, I blame the studio. Only because if this is the version where they were bending to the studio's every whim, they still managed to make it an entertaining movie.
Right, with some actual like emotional weight and like satisfying storytelling.
Yeah. So, and if this was advertised as like Lord of the Rings, it's just like, I'm sorry, it's just not that.
Right.
Read the script.
That's not what it is, guys.
No.
I'm sorry.
No. It's a samurai movie. Like, it's a sword fighting movie.
Yeah.
It's right there. It's right there in the plot.
Yeah.
I don't know what you thought you were making. I don't know. Did was the original script like something different and then they shot a totally different thing?
No, they filmed the movie that they had meant to film, and then the studio delayed the release from November 2012 to accommodate the rewrites and reshoots.
It sounds like they weren't paying attention. The studio,
no.
Like they had this on like a shelf, and having forgotten the script, we're like, oh yeah, that's going to be our big Lord of the Rings epic, and didn't think about it. And then when they got it in, they're like, wait, this isn't the thing we've been thinking it was. Make it that thing. But they didn't make it that thing. They just kind of added supernatural elements. I don't know. The poster makes me think that the pirate city was something that they were like, put that in. We need a pirate city.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's kind of... I'm very confused about this movie. And maybe, like, I don't have bad taste.
No, certainly not.
But the reviews are so low. I don't understand what happened here.
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay.
Like I really
looking at the Rotten Tomatoes, the critics' consensus, which is where some Rotten Tomatoes person just takes what all the critics are saying, puts it together. It calls it a surprisingly dull fantasy adventure. And I think that's the first problem, is that fantasy adventure is, I think, what they were pushing it as, but it's more like a martial arts drama fantasy. You know what I mean? I guess it is an
samurai
adventure
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So right away, it seems like imagine if this review said, not at all scary for a horror movie. You know, it'd be that. It's like, well, yeah, no, that's because that's not what it is. I don't know. I guess it's a little slow for people. But I didn't even find it that slow, to be honest.
Right, like I said, I felt like it moved kind of too quickly through a lot of things. I'm like, well, we could have let this breathe for a bit longer.
Yeah, I feel like I'm losing my mind here. I think the mystical creatures probably threw people off. Because they certainly don't need to be in this film. No,
I don't mind that they're there.
Neither do I.
They don't take away from the movie for me, and I fucking love The Witch.
Me too. And again, I get the idea that, like, oh, why is this weird witch in it? But, like, why is there a witch in Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves?
Yeah.
You know? Like, it's just part of it. Like, it's just part of the weird fantasy adventure, I guess.
Yeah.
It's I don't know. And, like, in order to have the witch, like, I would say the Prince of Thieves witch, they do make her magical, right? Like, there's a part where she knows that, like, Morgan Freeman is going to huck a sword in her.
Right. Yeah. She has, like, visions of, she calls him the Painted Man.
Right. So I honestly think the witch in this movie has more of a reason to be in the movie than Prince of Thieves.
Yeah.
Is Prince of Thieves considered a good movie?
It was a huge box office hit, but no, it is not considered a good movie.
I'm talking about it like it's Casablanca, and then I realize, like, well, maybe that's also not a good movie.
Also, like, this movie, 47 Ronin, came out right in the middle of them Hobbit movies, and, like, those movies are trash.
Yeah, this is better than them Hobbits.
Of course it is, and it's fucking half as long.
Yeah.
Like,
I liked this movie.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what's wrong with it. And, like,
I think it had a lot to do with, and this happens a lot. Like, I think it happened with, and again, these are not good movies either, but I think it happened with, like, Batman v Superman and Suicide Squad, and where it was like the details of it definitely happened with Waterworld as well. Where the details of the production became such a story on its own.
Right.
And we were kind of back to, at this point, we talked about it on Hypecast, but when this movie came back, we were kind of back to the point of where Keanu's kind of a joke. So, like, the idea of Keanu Reeves is making a $100 million samurai movie, isn't that stupid? So I think it, like a year of coverage of, oh, this movie, like, Universal is scrambling to fix Keanu Reeves' samurai movie, and I think it was just priming people to shit on it.
Right.
Like, we're 7 years removed from this movie now, and we're in another Keanu-sance, and then watching it, it's like, this movie's not bad. Like, I don't understand why its scores are so low. I mean, it's not, like, the greatest movie ever made, but it's, like, a 7.
Right. You have, I'm looking at Rotten Tomatoes again. All the critic reviews that are good are recent. all the critic reviews that are bad were from when it came out. So that says a little bit.
Yeah, and again, I'm not saying that, like, Batman v Superman or
but I get what you're
Waterworld are
saying.
good movies. I just think people really leaned into wanting to beat the movie up and were kind of overly dramatic about how bad those movies were, because they're bad, but they're not, like,
right.
Yeah, they're not, like, anywhere near as bad as the reviews that were contemporary.
There's a few movies. Yeah, there's a few movies. I think we talked about this with Dark Phoenix, which didn't have production problems, but it was after a long line of shitty X-Men, where, like, I felt, like, really hard on it.
Yeah.
But I think it's also the expectations of a Dark Phoenix versus what you get. And you're like, well, this is
This is horse shit.
Yeah.
This is
And
horse
I
shit.
wonder if I haven't watched the trailer for this, but I wonder if the trailer like promises something way more epic than this.
I think it promises more fantasy. Like
Right,
I'm kind of remembering the trailers, and it really leaned on the fantasy elements, and the fantasy is very much in the background in this movie.
Yeah, it feels like it's not trying though. That's the point. It feels like it's not trying to be fantasy or trying to be something it's not. And so watching it completely removed from the expectations, I was just like, "Oh, this is a fun movie.
Yeah.
I like this movie.
It's fine.
Yeah.
The action is cool. The sword
Yeah.
fighting's cool.
It's not dog shit."
Yeah, you have interesting characters.
I wonder if the trailer showed a bunch of scenes that weren't in it.
Not to my memory.
Yeah. By the way, I rewatched the Artemis Fowl trailer. There's a lot in there that's not in the movie. There's like witch characters and like shit where they're out in a city at one point. I'm like, oh my god, he left his house in the trailer.
Yeah, because he sure fucking does it in that movie.
Yeah. So I'm wondering if it's that, considering that this movie apparently had an entire other movie to pull scenes for a trailer for, that they like made it look different than it was.
I don't think so. Like like I said, I saw it in the theater, and I don't remember having that reaction to it.
Right.
Like I know they obviously they show like every supernatural thing in the movie in the trailer.
Right. Yeah.
So they really want you to think it's a fantasy movie, and it's just not.
Yeah. It also came out on Christmas, which
yeah, it did.
not a great move. Yeah, again, they were like the Hobbit's coming out. Like, did this compete with the Hobbit?
They competed with Desolation of Smog. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's your fucking problem.
Well,
This isn't a Christmas. The problem is this isn't a $175 million big budget worldwide release. If this movie should have cost like $70 million.
Yeah, and maybe it did at one point.
Yeah, and it should have been released. Not trying to battle against The Hobbit. Not that those movies were good, but like they were big at the time.
The huge built-in fan base for those movies.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Again, this feels like studio problems. It feels like the studio fucked up.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I'm staring at this poster. It's like, what the fuck are you?
What did they think? None of the
this?
things on the poster, like, or the one thing on the poster that this movie promises will happen doesn't happen. A pirate city is not blown up in this film.
Yeah, it is.
Wait, it gets blown up?
Yeah. As they're running out, the samurai guy Oishi grabs like a lantern, or it might have been Keanu.
How did I miss a pirate city blowing up?
They throw a lantern back at the other row of lanterns, and the gas just spills everywhere, and the whole place catches on fire. Jesus,
that's a flammable pirate city.
Yeah.
I mean, in fairness, that would be how I'd expect a pirate city to like explode.
Yeah,
like there's got to be fumes wafting off of that thing.
Oh yeah, okay, no, it's real. It's real, right?
Right, they do blow up a pirate city. It just has nothing to do with anything.
Right, but it happens it happens very fast.
Yeah, I apparently missed it.
Yeah.
I apparently looked away, and the pirate city exploded.
It happens at the tail end of a scene, and like it like leads into the transition to them like in the forest getting ready to meet the other. Yeah, it happens really fucking fast. It's by no means a pivotal moment.
No. The pirate city could be cut from the film.
It could be, but then you wouldn't get him fighting an ogre, and then you wouldn't get that cool sword fight between him and actually, you could still do the cool sword fight between him and the samurai guy. You just don't put it in the pirate city.
I'm not saying it should be. Like the same way Keanu Reeves could be cut from the film, but it's Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, why would you do that?
Yeah. No, you got Keanu Reeves. I like his opening. He's just staring at the ground. I didn't realize he was tracking at first, so it was just like, oh no.
It's Keanu spacing out.
Yeah, someone snap your fingers near the camera so he looks up. He's just super zen. Keanu Reeves, it reminded me of, what's that movie called, Little Buddha?
Yeah.
A lot of bald Keanu Reeves in the woods and that.
Sure is.
just zoning out.
That's the strangest casting of all time.
What, him as Siddhartha?
Yeah.
I mean, super racist choice, but his energy...
His energy is appropriate, but it's like, my God.
But like, he's not famous enough to, well, I was going to say justify, but to explain that level of whitewashing.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing, is like, why? Like, just cast an appropriate person to play Siddhartha. No one cares about Keanu Reeves. It's so weird.
Yeah, that's an odd choice.
Yeah, I haven't seen that movie in a while. I would say I should watch it, but you know what? I don't think I will.
I'm not going to. I watched it in high school. That's fine.
People just see Keanu Reeves and they're like, we want like savior. He's got savior vibes, apparently.
Yeah, he's an angelic being.
Yeah, like techno savior, or like using the power of rock and roll, or fucking demon sword powers, Voldemort sword powers. Doesn't matter. He's got that weird dull eyes where he looks like a weird. I don't know what it is. It just works.
Yeah, it works out for him. He's killing it.
He is. He's doing a great job.
Yeah.
Good job, Keanu.
Yeah, good job, Keanu. We're behind you 100%.
Yeah, thumbs up. But yeah, I guess I would recommend this movie to people.
Yeah.
I think it's definitely underrated.
For sure.
Yeah. It's not for everybody. It's slightly slow, but yeah, it's a decent like drama, I don't know, adventure samurai film.
Yeah.
It's a little slow, but like
not that slow.
No, not that slow. I liked it.
Yeah.
Shame on you, Rotten Tomatoes.
Shame on all you 2013 critics.
Yeah. Yeah, that's all I got.
Yeah, I don't have anything else to say other than that. Everyone was wrong. Watch this movie.
Everyone watch this movie. I'm checking my notes. And the fact that it ends with a bunch of people stabbing themselves is that's fucked up.
Yeah. It's pretty brutal.
Oh yeah, my only other note is witch feeding her with her hair. Gross.
Yeah, that was pretty dope.
Yeah. The witch uses her hair a lot.
Yeah. It's all magic and shit.
Yeah, it's super. Oh, also horse dragged by monster.
I was gonna say. I forgot.
That horse should have exploded against a tunnel.
I noted that immediately. Oh, we got some solid horse violence in the first 4 minutes.
The horse makes it out all right, but the goddamn monster whips by the horse and catches the horse, and the horse gets dragged
for quite a while.
It's a real reversal for how horse dragging usually works.
Yeah.
Because usually it's like the cowboy in a comedic scene gets dragged by his horse. This time it's just a horse, a very startled horse getting dragged by a monster. Like, how did it come to this?
Oh man, this world was
horse.
turned upside down in an instant.
Yeah, that horse was traveling very fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, good times. All right. Well, I guess I should tell people about our Patreon. But first I should thank Lef again. Legitimately thank Lef, because I would have gone my life assuming this was just a really bad movie I should never watch. And I'm glad I watched it. I'll probably watch it again sometime.
Yeah.
So Lef did this through our Patreon. You can go to our Patreon at patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. We have exclusive podcasts there, like Tom and Jeff Watch Batman, and Fox Mulder is a Maniac, and other tiers that you can check out. Go
put your eyes upon that. We also have a store, tpublic.com/stores/gamefullyunemployed. We got t-shirts. We got stuff. You can check it out if you want to.
Yeah.
You can do that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's I don't know. Maybe we should have some sort of horse shirt.
We definitely need some kind of horse shirt.
Yeah, I hope we're not alienating our horse enthusiasts. We went through this with the fucking Zorro podcast. Like, we're not advocating for violence against horses. It's just that it's like we talked about, the funniest place for someone to get injured is the neck.
Yeah,
or the throat, because it's vital, and it's just horses are such funny creatures, and it's not every day you see one get dragged by a beast. a big manticore thing.
Yeah, a big fucking God of War monster.
Yeah. And it's because like they didn't ask for any of this.
No, they don't want. They want no part of this.
They just want to hang out in a field.
Yeah, they don't know what any of this is.
It's pretty nuts that like goal hanging out in a field, reality getting dragged by a monster. It's just
jumping onto a train.
Yeah, exploding on a train. It's just a big gap between goal and the reality of these poor horses.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Goodbye, horses.
Goodbye, horses. Is that what the song's about?
Maybe.
Yeah.
It might be.